Well, only two of them are Infinity. The other bolt actions are Atlases.
Funny. Hey, my Atlases work.
Sometimes.
So the Atlases work and the Infinity don't, huh?
I mean, this one works now, allegedly. So I went shooting with Garrick, and it malfunctioned once, which could have been anything. Like literally, a pistol can malfunction once in like 300 rounds, and I'm like, fuck me. Like it would be the one time I brought some rando to go train with me that it just like magically starts working, and it's like, okay, ignore everything I said. The gun's fine.
Well, welcome back to the Raw Time Champ podcast, and you got a little preview. And on this episode, we're going to be talking about Khoi's new Infinity open guns. So he went down to Infinity and did it's the Infinity experience, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So how did that go? How was that? That sounds pretty cool.
It was good. It was I actually did not know what to expect at all. You can go the Infinity experience and just go on Infinity's website and see like what it's about. And they vaguely describe it as like a factory class and like a shooting training thing. But outside of that, there's really no details whatsoever. But it was really interesting. So like the factory class, I'll break it up, I guess, by the way they lay it out. The factory class was led by Brandon Schreier, guy that runs the whole show, and he had a bunch of his factory staff members helping him show everyone how to break down the guns and stuff. They gave a whole tour, and they gave a lot of, if you're like into like, I don't know, if for whatever reason you're into like factory operations and manufacturing operations and like specifically firearms, it's extraordinarily interesting. It was really fun to me, to be honest, because I could care less about how guns are made. But they gave tons of insights, and like we walked around to a bazillion of their machines. I don't know how much money they got in there. It seemed expensive. It seemed like walking into that little metal building, like the air was expensive because there were so many 50 million access whatever machines. I don't know shit about it, and honestly I don't care. But they gave a lot of insights on like competitive differentiation and like their fabrication, I guess is the way to say it, of like what they do versus like other alternatives in the world. There was like there were some samples, and apparently this is a thing gun builders do. They look at their competition, so they had breakdowns of what's that cheap 2011 that everyone's buying now?
Bull.
No. Cheap, even cheaper. It's the one that everyone bought and then like
Springfield.
Yeah. What's that?
Prodigy.
Prodigy, that one, yeah. So they were talking about like Prodigy and Kimbers and Mim parts and all this kind of wonderful. If you're into manufacturing, it's probably super interesting. But my mind completely tuned out during that part. It was basically like, cool. So this is not the thing that I bought. It sounds fantastic that you guys know the difference between stuff. But yeah, in excruciating detail, and there were a couple of like, I don't know what to call them, like manufacturing nerds in there that kept asking questions, and I'm like, please, can we just get to the part where we break apart the guns? Anyways, so that was like the other part of it, right? So two parts to the factory tour. There's a classroom setting, really nice. They obviously spent a lot of coin on it, like to set it up to make it accommodating for people to have like individual little workspaces. Part of the cost of the whole class, they gave you tools, and you break down your pistol, which is kind of worth. It's like stuff that you could gather from like the internet if you had, I don't know, like a million hours. Like I'm sure that each of us have already spent like a million hours trying to figure out like, hey, what's this nub on my CZ do? You know what I mean? Like, but having someone
that's
actually
the front sight.
Do what?
That's the front sight. The
Yeah.
nub.
That's what it's like. I mean, inside
way to completely trail.
But yeah, they showed like all of their design philosophy and stuff as they're breaking down the gun. And there's a bunch of, I guess, Infinity proprietary stuff, like the breach trace or whatever. Again, stuff that unless you're a gun nerd, you really don't care about. But just in the lizard brain, Khoi version of it, it's like cool. So this is stuff Infinity sells is like this is why it's different or better or whatever than the alternatives out there. And there's not too many out there these days, right? I guess from like commercial offerings. I mean, I guess there's like a handful. But they gave you tools, they broke down everything, they showed you everything that needs TLC. They gave you like a long ass list of like that I'm definitely not going to follow, of like, here's the maintenance schedules for stuff. And they gave you all the fluids to put in your gun, which I mean,
There's more than one.
I know, bro, I know. Believe me, I know. I'm like, so
Jesus.
I have a tub of red and tacky at home, and I'm just gonna slap that on random parts, and that's kind of been like the move since I've shot open, and everything's been fine. But they're like super particular about like this blue lube and this other blue lube and this other blue lube on this part, and there's
They
like
don't even color code them.
no, I mean, there's one that's like oil, and there's one that's like grease, and then there's one that's like lithium grease, and I'm like, guys, I'm gonna pick one of these packages and put them on all the parts.
Well, so what if you mix them all together? Can it go anywhere if you do that?
I think it works better, right? Like it's like now it's like a triple hybrid. That's how that works, right?
Yeah, mix them together. I think I read about that in chemistry.
That sounds.
But yeah, I
It's
feel
like
like
gun powders,
if
too.
you don't know shit about guns, it's actually an amazing class. Like it's kind of thing where I wish that how long have you been shooting, Kevin? Like 5 years, 6 years, something like that. USPSA. I don't know. If I went back to like
USPSA? Yeah, like 6 years.
6 years, like 6 years ago, I should have taken this fucking thing instead of being like, oh, I broke this thing. Let's go on Beanos and figure out what the fuck is up. Like that was actually worthwhile. If you're like been shooting for 6 years, there's not anything that's like super novel except for like the Infinity like IP stuff. But
I don't know. I've known some people who shot for 6 years, and it's almost like they haven't shot any.
that's
So,
well, I mean, I don't know. So I don't know if you guys know this, but I mean, I'm looking at you, Connor and Matt. Like Calvin probably breaks more shit than literally anybody I fucking know. So I feel like
I saw the side stop.
Right. I feel like you're the wrong guy to talk to.
That was impressive. Those don't
It's not even
usually
that-
break on
it's not even that
Tanfos.
novel.
Should have bought a Glock.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't break that often on Tanfos, though, right? That's like more of a CZ thing.
Yeah, it's pretty rare on a 10.
I break them every 20K on my CZ like clockwork.
Back
See,
to the
someone told me
experience.
their CZs last for 50K, but I think they're full of shit. Okay, yeah.
I
That
don't
doesn't
believe
matter.
that.
Back to the experience. Point. Keep talking.
Okay, so I'll get to the second part. So the factory thing was a whole thing. I guess other small little dumb things. If you care about like creature comfort stuff, they fed you sandwiches and breakfast and drinks, and I guess it's that pinky up Infinity experience that you come to expect from like if you shoot with Infinity shooters, you kind of expect this stuff. It's like you're gonna feed me and give me drinks and seltzer water and what all the wonderful things that you associate with Infinity shooters, right?
Is that what we associate them with? Okay.
Wouldn't it be more accurate to have you guys pick up 38 Super Comp brass from the ground?
I wasn't going
think
to talk
that's,
about
like,
that until I got to the shooting part, but let's go ahead and jump straight to that.
Oh, yeah,
So-
I'm assuming they showed you how to do that.
No. So, and here's the most fucked thing. Eric, if you ever listens to this shit, this motherfucker sends me a message after the class. This Eric Steiner, who runs Range Panda. He sends me a message. He's like, "Hey guys, thanks for your brass. I picked up as much as I could and brought it back in my luggage on the way back to where the fuck he's from." I'm like, "God damn, dude! I didn't realize." So like everyone in the class, there's like 20 of us probably, all shooting 38 Super Comp open guns, except for like the one dude shooting limited for whatever reason, right? Everyone's shooting 38 Super Comp. Imagine 20 people leaving 38, like hundreds of rounds of 38 Super Comp on the ground for this class. And I'm like, where's my fucking net? Where's my fucking bag?
I literally can't even fathom caring about that.
Imagine doing like a $400 round trip flight just to collect 38 Super Comp brass.
It pained me. It pained me. That's like the one downside, but okay, shooting class. Format was like split into two groups. One was like advanced shooters, and one was like the fundamental level shooters. So I can't tell you anything about the fundamentals level class because I didn't go.
Humble brag.
No, dude. So they gave us no. So get this, right? I tried to go to that class, and Ken, so he's like one of the locals, DFW local gyms. He like hit me in the fucking arm. He's like, "What the fuck are you doing? Like, you're going to this this let you pick like which class you go to." And he's like, he basically gave me the "Are you retarded?" look and said, "No, you're going to the advanced class." And I'm like, oh, I haven't been shooting for like 12 months. He's like, "Shut the fuck up." You're like,
that's so funny. I can see Ken doing that. That's really funny.
But yeah, I joined the advanced group. It was like B class people through GMs, leaning towards heavier. Actually, surprisingly, I've never been in a class that leaned this heavy towards like the more GMM shooters. But this one had that. Bill Drummond is the trainer. I actually don't know anything about Bill. I kind of still don't. I tried to look him up before this thing, but apparently he's been on the scene for a long time. Was like World Shoot 2017 team. Apparently out of Pittsburgh, but the experience was like 2 parts. So factory was like 1 whole day for the factory, like whole thing, and the other day was 8 hours, and legitimate straight through like 8 hours minus lunch. That was like Bill Drummond's like how he shoots, USPSA, IPSC, whatever. And it surprised me how much he kind of leaned into the movement tech. I don't know like how much is attributed to like Eric G, but apparently he didn't like do the name drop thing, but he I guess he mentioned that a lot of his philosophy or whatever comes from like training with Eric G, and I've never trained with Eric G or don't follow him at all, but the stuff seems pretty good. He's in it. Bill's kind of based off of a single days of experience. He's like kind of in the short list of trainers that seems to have like really good competitive background, and he was able to explain like changes that were actionable, not just from like the near term changes of like, hey, this is bad, do this, but also like longer term training strategy, like types of changes to walk away from. I don't know if you guys have run into trainers that are kind of like, oh yeah, like the targets don't care about your feelings, or I don't know, some stuff like that. And you're like, well, that's nice, but what do I do with that? Didn't really walk away from Drummond with that impression. So it was pretty good. He gave like a little overview on equipment. Some people kind of, even in the advanced class, had I don't know, I can't think of a creative way to say it, weird belt setups. And he kind of just commented on, like efficiency things like, hey, if you have a weird setup, go fix that, because that's basically free points or free time to have your shit not weird. He said it much better than that, but
what would be considered weird?
So actually a novel thing that was kind of interesting. He bagged on people, and this includes me, that had a magazine like at 12. He's like, your hands don't like fall down from your gun at 12. So like that's automatically just from, I guess, from like a biomechanics thing, like not optimal. And I guess this is the kind of thing where you're like, can it matter? Should it matter? I can only take it on credit that this guy's better at shooting than I am. So, I mean, in a bro sciencey way, I could be like, yes, the hands in front, and if I put my arms on my side, like my hands don't fall down at my belly button. So it's like, that makes sense. But he seems to like be trying to compete at the level of like doing things that gain you tenths passively versus I don't know, versus things that people don't even notice. Like, I don't know how many people will actually pay attention to like mags at 12 or 11 or whatever, like degrees of on your waist. Big takeaways from the whole thing. I left like with the impression that Infinity has like the tech, the process, and expertise to like make a good gun. And then from the shooting class, like it was really a rehash of like things that, I mean, we've all been shooting forever at this point. Stuff that as an MRGM, like you should know, but like some newer perspectives, like I just newer perspective on how to like consider strategies or what do you call it, like shooting strategies. The thing was $800. Do I think it's worth it? In a word, I'll say yes. But I could definitely see that if you're not already in the bucket of like seltzer water Infinity owners, you'd be like $800. Are you fucking cracked? I could see that.
Well, compared to the I guess cost of and I'm not even trying to talk bad about the cost of the guns. Like I get it, but compared to the cost of the guns, I mean, $800 is kind of chump change at that point, right? Like,
Yeah.
So I kind of get it as someone who would not pay that, but I kind of get it.
I mean, it's 10%. I'll just be straight up. So I don't know if you guys know or have a figure of how much like Infinity Open Gun costs. It's straight up $8,000. So you can get cosmetics attached to it, and that will like raise or decrease the cost. And I'm sure like the cost will change over time for reasons. But paid $8,000 for mine, and that came with mags. And so class, yeah, it's like, is a factory class and shooting thing worth 10% of the cost of the gun? I think so.
Yeah, like if you got some legit shooting tips from Glock for $50 when you bought a Glock or something, it's like that doesn't seem that crazy, you know, if you think about it that way.
Yeah, I think if there was something, I guess, unique about it, and the unique part about it was like, if you saved up your search history from Beanos for the last 6 years or however long you've been shooting USPSA and combined it into like a classroom-led experience, that was the factory tour part of like the classroom piece of the factory class. So I think that was valuable because they went through. I forgot to mention earlier, but like what load do I use? What should my ammo look like? Like
that seems pretty valuable for like an open gun that's like a very specialized handgun.
Yeah. And I guess the last part is this thing and how it runs. So I've shot 1,400 rounds out of it. I have probably like 300 malfunctions on it, which is fucking awesome.
Jesus
I'm
Christ.
told it's like break-in. So in the last 400 rounds, it's like 10 malfunctions. So I'm inclined to believe it, but I'm a little surprised about like a gun that actually has break-in.
Did they tell you about how long to expect until it's like able to be used in a match?
No, I asked a couple of people about it, and they're like, within 1 to 2K is kind of that window to like know if your shit is fucked. So I'm in the window, and like the last 300 I shot had like 1 malfunction, and we can take ammo out of the picture, I think, because I'm just shooting Ely Factory, or their 38 Supercom Factory stuff.
So if you get to like 2,000 rounds and you have any malfunctions after that, it's like probably column or something, like there's probably an actual problem at that point.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
So am I thrilled about having to shoot, I don't know, how much is like, am I thrilled about having to shoot like $400 of ammo to like work shit out? Not really, but I guess like, is it ammo you hypothetically would already have shot? I don't know if I've already gone down the dark path of like infinity coping, but
well, it's malfunction clearing practice, right? And that's something most people probably wouldn't have experience with before switching to open, but that's a very important skill for open. So I mean, if anything, they're doing you a favor.
Sure. But upsides, never shot 38 Super Comp gun an extended period before. I've heard a lot of statements around like, 38's only like 5% better than 9 major or whatever. I don't know if this is like the infinity diff of like their 38 gun versus others and whatever this stuff is. There's like, I guess, plenty of like gunsmithing geometry special stuff that they do. But this shit feels easy to shoot. Like, I don't know what specific combination of things. Is it like their fancy bougie grip and extra traction, or like the double-sided optic mount or low optic mount or V-port? I literally don't know. All I can tell you is after being out of practice and shooting this gun, like I shoot this gun probably out of practice better than I shot 9 major when I was in practice. And I don't know if that's equipment diff or how much it is, but it's pretty significant. It's a little strange to me because I guess I had not shot a 38 pistol before, so I don't have like a good measuring stick. But it is significantly better shooting than most open guns I've shot.
So this is probably a dumb question, but most of our listeners may not have shot an open gun, and I've never shot an open gun before. So can you like describe what makes it easier to shoot? Because I'm genuinely curious.
If you are retarded and do not know how to hold the gun, the dot will probably not leave the window still.
So if you have a decent grip, it's probably like borderline not moving.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
it's pretty nutty.
That's pretty cool.
So downsides, you got to pick up stupid shells off the ground. But I guess upsides, it's really loud. Like calling it 22 is probably an oversell because 22 legitimately is like not much recoil. But it's significantly, I in my experience, it's significantly better than 9. People are like in the neighborhood of 5%. I'd be like 15-20% easy.
So do you still feel the recoil and it's like more of a straight back thing? It just doesn't flip, or is it a case of like you literally don't really feel the recoil?
I don't know how to answer that because recoil is like, I'm like one of those like pinky up sissy people that like, oh, loud guns, whatever. Double plug loud guns.
I mean, is it like a lack of flip or like a lack of anything? I guess is what my question boils down to.
I don't know. So when I like put a camera on my hands, like the gun appears to be doing normal gun things, like a certain amount of like, up and back, right? Like that tilting up and back. But what you can like read from like you look at the target and you just like kind of peripherally see the dot, it's not going much places. So like
Wow.
I when I went out and I was like, cool, we're just gonna get some calibration and it's gonna hurt and it's gonna be not great. Shoot like calibration doubles at like 15. I was like, maybe 15 is not the distance anymore. Maybe it's 20. Like, like which is a wild statement, right? Like,
yeah, 20-yard doubles with like a normal handgun is pretty hard.
But there's definitely gear diff. Now, how much is it actually helpful? Because like, how much do you actually shoot? Like from like a shooting doubles perspective, it's fantastic. Like, it still is not going to solve any problems if like you don't know how to like do all the other stuff. But like, it's certainly not the gun's fault if like, the things are like fucking crazy.
Well, cool. And so you got 2, right?
Yeah, I can't wait to.
Do you have both of them yet, or you only?
Yeah, I have. I have both.
Okay.
So I've been spending all my time trying to make one work. So I can't wait to repeat the experience. I'm sure I have more cute comments for you guys when I try to make the second one work.
I mean, at least maybe one will be match ready. But
I think this one's there. It's just like I would have preferred not to do 1,400 rounds to be like feel good about match ready.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
Do they feel different at all, or are they like completely?
Yeah. So this one, you can't see this on camera, but like we can't feel this on camera, but like this one, like this one feels like really smooth, like really like slick, like it's just like I again, you can't feel shit, but it feels really smooth. The other one feels like I can't even think of a good analogy, but
Like a vacuum fit.
yeah, it feels like it's fit extremely close. This one is still fit extremely close, but it feels like it's already been like worn together.
Almost down.
Cool.
Which I don't know if that's a good thing. I've never owned a gun that's like been like that close together.
Alrighty. Well, thank you for sharing. I think we've got a couple minutes for some listener questions. Did you guys? I think Matt and Calvin had some. Do we have any good ones?
I did. I just need to look the damn thing up. It's all the way back in our Signal chat. So I mean,
Scroll.
Gotta hunt for the dang thing after all of our conversations.
All of our intelligent shooting conversations, right? Definitely
Yep.
not any shenanigans.
Definitely not crime. Yes.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Let's do a
I'm
simple
that.
one. 3 to 5 differences between a local and major that a first timer should prepare for or be wary of. I mean, since we've all been to major matches, this shouldn't be too hard to answer.
All right, well, I'll go first since someone's chiming in. I think a big one for me is like physical fatigue. At most majors, this depends on the schedule, but at most majors, you're probably going to be standing on the range for longer than you're used to at a club match. So I think like hydration is important, especially if it's in the summer. Making sure you eat something throughout the day, but not too big of a meal. Whereas you might not eat anything at a club match if you're like me. So just stuff like that. Just be prepared. It's probably going to be a longer day. But so there's my one little tip. What do you guys got?
It's more expensive.
Yeah, I got like I guess 2 variations on maybe a similar thing, but if you shoot a major as a 1 day, like what you said, double applies. Like I don't think people really prepare for like the 8-hour match shooting experience and like 12 stages in the day. For some reason, like it didn't seem that bad. You'd be like, oh, it's just 50%, more. But it definitely like from a physical toll, like it probably feels like 100% more, like double the fatigue, just like walking around, and then even double if you're out of shape. Yeah, like you already said it, but like if you're out of shape, it sucks even more.
Well, I was gonna say,
I mean,
even
like,
if the weather is like perfect, and like it's not too hot or anything like that, it's just mentally draining. Assuming you're like switched on, paying attention, care about your performance, like that type of thing. Probably the way the person that asked this question is, it's mentally exhausting. Sorry, Matt,
like,
go ahead.
Yeah, but I mean, like, imagine you're at a local match, you're already gassed after 1 day, and you're breathing into the mic, by the way. Like, imagine trying to survive 2 days of basically a local back-to-back. What else is there?
The score, like, wait. Are you guys in the single, like, major match on the single day club or major match over 2 or multiple days club?
Lately, I've been in the 2-day club, but I want to get fit enough to do the 1 day.
I prefer doing it.
I've been doing the 1 day.
Oh, really? That surprises me, Calvin, because you bitch the most of the match conditions.
That's why I do it in 1 day, so I can get it over with.
It's 81 degrees outside. Oh, Calvin's like, oh, I quit shooting.
It's fucking hot, man. No, what happens at major matches is they almost always go over on time. So the people shooting half day end up out there for like 7 hours, and then the people shooting for a full day end up being out there for like 9-10 hours. So I'd rather have 1 10-hour day than 2 7-hour days.
I don't think I've been to a major match lately. Well, I haven't been to a major match lately, period. But I don't think I've been to a major match in a long time that really like actually ran late.
The last major match you were at was Texas State last year.
And that went pretty on time, if I remember correctly.
There was one area 4 where like we were supposed to shoot half a day, but then we went to like 6 or like 7 p.m. or something ridiculous.
Yeah, that would suck.
Khoi, you were in my squad.
I can't even remember. I've been to too many Area 4s to remember now.
It was it was when we first started, or around when we first started.
Was it in Houston or in Oklahoma or what?
Oklahoma, I think.
Really? I'm tagging. So. We need to tag Chad in this.
Well, maybe it was Houston.
There's a personal attack from Calvin. Calvin thinks your match sucks, Chad.
Yeah, well, you can't be banned by him anymore, at least. So. The other thing I would say that comes to mind is if you're, like one of us who cares about your performance, you'll probably put more pressure on yourself at a major match, which, you could argue whether or not that's warranted, but realistically, you will probably end up putting more pressure on yourself at a major match. And so I think like leading up to that, one thing you can do is take local matches extremely seriously. Even if at the end of the day you don't actually care about them, like try to pretend that it's the major match you're shooting, and just get some practice with that extra pressure. I think is beneficial for your performance.
Yeah, and then most often there will be a chrono at level 2 and up. So make sure your ammo makes velocity, unless you're shooting certified ammo.
It's so weird. It's so weird, right? Because like. I'm not gonna get into why chrono is like good or bad or whatever, right? But it's like they always like tell you that you're getting your chrono shit, so like it's entirely within the realm of possibility that chrono isn't really for finding cheaters like under power factor people. It's just catching people that suck at reloading and idiots. You know what I mean? Like I don't know, it's a thing. It definitely takes up. I don't know, how long do you guys think it takes up in every major? Probably half an hour, right? To shoot chrono? At least.
Yeah.
Squad probably at most 15 minutes or something like that.
Yeah, well,
No,
usually
it's
they
like,
overlap
it takes
that
15
while
minutes.
you're
It takes
waiting
15
around
minutes
on
to find
another
Oh yeah,
those
because
stage.
they also
mags and a
have to
marker.
weigh your freaking gun. Yeah, and also measure your mags.
Yeah, it takes a minute. Speaking of gun stuff, have spare parts for your guns. If you have things that break often or break normally, like these side stops on CZs and Tanfos, have those. Have spare trigger return springs.
Wait.
I've had a Taurus for years and it's never broken.
You guys don't just buy two Infinities? I don't understand.
Well, even if you have two Infinities, you still need spare parts in case both break.
Well, they won't break because they just don't work for long enough to wear out. Boom. Show quote right there.
For the.
I thought you were gonna go for they come broken, so you don't have to break them.
Well, yeah, the parts are all intact at least.
Yeah. Spare fibers are good. Spare batteries for this imaginary SRO here. Tools to take stuff apart and put back together. That's always important. And if you're going to a dusty match, it's probably good to have some kind of cover for your gun, like a what are those things called?
Shower cap.
The hair thing. The shower caps. Yeah.
You guys use shower caps? You're not in the Walmart bag club?
I don't do anything. If it's raining, the gun gets rained on. If it's dusty, the gun gets dusty. Literally don't.
Yeah, I use a cheap hotel shower cap that tore like after the first stage. So that's not very good help.
If it's raining or dusting at Area 4, I guarantee you guys are gonna see me at the Walmart bag over my Infinity.
That's.
You don't have one of those fancy
yeah,
double alpha ones?
At least get a Kroger bag or something.
Oh, excuse me. Excuse me. I didn't realize I had to move up there.
It's not that
you have to step up, bro.
I don't know how you guys feel about this one. If you're like difference between locals and major matches. So one thing that I think is important to call out is if your club is like really expedient in scoring, you cannot be expedient. You can't take shit until an RO walks up and like scores the thing. I don't know if I know anyone that's gotten like penalized or DQ'd for doing that kind of stuff, but I personally actually did it when I was a noob. And so get this, I did it to fucking Christian Seiler of all people. He laid down this hellacious run at Air 4 and I taped a target because I was like brain dead in the afternoon. And then luckily the RO had already leaned over and seen that it was like 2 alpha, but when the actual CRO came by to score, he's like, "Who the fuck take this?" And I'm like, I'm fucking retarded, please. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think that always happens to people that it's usually like I think a lot of times that happens to people that it's not their first major match and they just have their brain turned off. So I mean, I think I've never seen anyone. I mean, it's always an innocent mistake, but yeah, you should watch out for that because people will get mad at you.
Yeah. And then I don't know how strongly I feel about this, but it's like, if you don't know the rules, it's a really good time to know the rules because I feel like I've seen enough sketchy like match management stuff that not knowing the rules potentially gets in your way. If you don't know the rules, you got to find people that are kind of like your USPSA range lawyer friends, and make sure that they're like paying attention for you or something. And I'm talking about stuff like I've seen an RO tell someone that they're DQ'd for like dipping their gun in and out of their holster, like after make ready. You know what I mean? Like they like load their gun up, drop the gun in the holster, and they're like, dipping their gun in the holster, like how some people do. They're just kind of like twitchy. And they're like, oh, that's a DQ. And they're like, I'm not going to DQ right now, but that's a DQ for future reference. And they're like, what the fuck are you talking about?
That makes no sense.
Will you shut the fuck up? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
if it's a DQ, you should DQ me right now. Like,
I can't remember. Were you guys on my squad? Did you guys watch that shit happen? Can't remember.
Which match was this?
Having trouble remembering.
I don't
Gulf
think I was
Coast?
there.
I don't. Doesn't sound familiar.
We saw some shenanigans at Texas State where someone like got a reshoot they should or shouldn't have. I can't remember what exactly happened, but there's
Yeah.
always like some stuff like that. So if it's your first match, I don't know if I would be super concerned with like memorizing all the rules, or if your first major match, let me say. But definitely, if it's your first major match, you're probably going and squatting with your friends. Make one of those friends someone who's pretty experienced.
When in doubt,
Oh,
ask
yeah,
for the
courtesy
master.
reshoots are also not a thing at majors.
They shouldn't be at locals either.
Wait, are courtesy reshoots a thing? Wait a minute.
They happen at locals more often than you'd think.
Yeah.
Wait, is this the thing I get as an Infinity shirt?
If you squad with the other Infinity
Yeah.
shooters, you might.
Yeah.
Based on some things I've seen.
Go on. Go on.
No, I don't know if I've ever seen any actual like illegal reshoots. I've seen some doubles that were very perfect. Let me put it that way.
Yeah. We had some illegal reshoots very recently.
Shame.
Go on. Okay.
I mean, the guy had a. The guy
Khoi's
had a
like, I want their
malfunction
social security numbers.
Name names,
was a-
Calvin. God damn it.
It was a classifier, and this
Oh, it
guy who
gets
shoots a
better.
division that no one
Hold on,
cares
where's
about.
Derek? I'm tagging Derek in this shit right now. PSI, let's go.
He,
Classifier.
yeah, he had a malfunction, and the RO.
That's a reshoot, right?
Yeah, apparently a malfunction on your gun's a reshoot.
That's got to be in the rule book somewhere.
Yeah, so yeah.
Yeah, I
Okay,
guess
I
the
think
the
we
gist
fully
of this
agree with the
rant is that they probably will actually enforce the rules at majors, and hopefully they enforce them correctly. So just prepare yourself for that.
Yeah, if you're used to getting away with reshoots or having your belt fucked up or calling,
yeah, that's a good
you
one.
know,
Oh
like
yeah, check your equipment.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like actually check your equipment, because like odds are you'll get bumped to open if it's not.
How many
legal.
times do you guys know carry optic shooters get bumped to open for mags? Pretty often, surprisingly.
It's yeah.
How?
If
It's
you're-
so
if you're-
lenient.
If you're a Glock shooter with Terran pads, it's happened before.
Well, it's because there's some there's usually more I guess like manufacturing tolerance in the tubes, and so the manufacturer of the base pad may have super tight tolerance, but if the tube is a little bit too long, so you should like if you legit you should check your mags for carry optics, because it's dependent on length, or for limited or open, right, which are
That's
also dependent on length.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah. So if your local matches let you get away with stuff, you're less likely to get away with it at a major match.
Well, and especially for mag length, like maybe like everything could be above board at a local match, but like just realistically, no one's walking around with a mag gauge at a local. You know, it's like they just look at you, you're like, oh yeah, that's a Glock with a 140 extension. You know, no one's measuring it.
That's true. I feel like too, it's not been every major, but your ammo has to be up to snuff depending on how big a major it is. Because I don't know if you guys have had this treatment. Like they shoot your gun, they get the speed, but then they pull around too and weigh your bullet.
Yeah.
Not every major I've seen does that. As long as you kind of like meet your declared, you're fine. But some of them actually check your declared.
Yeah, all
Like
the
a-
ones I've shot recently, they weighed my bullets. Like they'll pull them and weigh them.
Yeah.
Load that might work in your favor too. Like I know when they pulled my blue bullets 147s, those actually weigh like 150. So
Right.
but yeah, that's a good one. I think just double check all your equipment if you haven't done that before, and even if you have, like probably double check like holster position and stuff before the match.
Shit, I got one. Bring extra ammo for fun. Like you're going to major match, bring fucking extra ammo. Don't bring like 100 round extras. Bring like 200 rounds extra. Whatever the stated round count is, bring a lot fucking more than that.
50%, right? at least.
Yeah. I'm like, how many? I'm guessing you guys have shot reshoots at majors. Yeah, it happens. It fucking happens.
There was a guy at Dragon's Cup. I want to say like he was on his 5th reshoot when we were watching him do his reshoot, and I'm pretty sure there was like more, because he was just like shooting reshoots all day.
Is it like a 30 round field course that he reshot? 5
Yeah.
rounds? What the?
Yeah. It was 5 reshoots, but different stages. It wasn't the 5th reshoot on the same stage.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but still, most of the stages were like over 24 rounds.
Christ.
Yeah, and it's not like you get to take the ammo back home when you're done. So just take like way more than you think you need. The only reason you wouldn't is if you're flying and there's like that 11-pound limit, which sometimes is enforced and sometimes isn't.
At that point, you ship your ammo over.
Exactly. And
Well,
usually,
for
if it's
the
just
next
like
episode where we have the hacks for getting past the airline jockeys. I'm kidding.
Step 1, get married.
You joke. I had Ariana bring my ammo when we went to nationals. We had 11 pounds each.
Yeah, nice.
Like drug muling.
Yeah.
Drug muling production. I like it.
All right. I think. I mean, we can do another question if y'all want. What do y'all think?
I think we're good.
Save them for next time. I
Yeah.
like it. All right, guys. Well, I think we've sufficiently covered that. So if you have questions, send them to one of us, and stay tuned for next time.
Yay!